bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every single day.
We are News Generation.
Bring news just for you. It's Thursday, November 21st here in Seoul. I'm Song Yujin, and welcome to News Generation. Today we're joined by Kwon Ju-yeon.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Kang Won-ju.
Thanks for inviting me.
Welcome back. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. So we're going to begin with our keyword news. Today's keyword is anywhere. New data from travel platform Skyscanner reveals that for Koreans traveling between December 21st and 31st this year, the most popular choice isn't a specific city or country. It's actually anywhere. Now, this option uses the platform search feature to recommend destinations ranked by price and date. And following anywhere, the most booked destinations were Taiwan's Taipei, Thailand's Bangkok, Japan's Sapporo, Hong Kong, and Vietnam's Nha Trang. And as the year draws to a close, many people are actually planning their final vacations. So I want to ask our panelists, what about you? Do you have any plans to travel at the end of the year, or is there any place you want to go that's on your wish list before we say goodbye to 2024, or do you just want to go anywhere?
Yeah, to be completely honest, I'm a P type of person with the MBTI, having no plans at all. So it would be so hard for anyone to see me planning for anything. So, but these days my wish list has been updated. I want to visit Jeju Island. It's not far at all. And also, I want to enjoy their weather, their nature, and just relax myself there.
Yeah, they're warmer than Seoul, right?
Yeah, definitely. And also, this anywhere, I love it. Like,
you love it.
Like P type of person like me, we're so lazy to like choose a destination at all. If they choose for me, then I can start planning vacation since then. So I think it's a great option to use it.
Well, hope you have time to visit Jeju Island before the end of the year.
I hope so, yeah.
Now, what about you, Jian?
Well, I was an absolute J who likes to plan every single thing. But after having two kids, I think I changed to P right now. Well, recently I found myself planning trips abroad, not with a specific destination in mind, but by searching for anywhere that fits my schedule. So it's sort of a refreshing way to discover places I might not have considered otherwise. And this approach has taken me to Japan, Bali, and even Jeju Island, each offering its own unique charm. Plus, you know, there's immense joy in the process of planning a trip, imagining the possibilities and adventures ahead. So there's something exciting about letting the journey guide you rather than the destination. So who knew anywhere could be everywhere.
Right. So is there a specific city or country that you like to visit soon, Jian?
Oh, the UK.
UK. Okay. So for Jeju Island for Bunju and the United Kingdom for Jian. And that was our keyword news for this Thursday. So we're now going to move on to our main discussion of the day. It's Thursday when we usually talk about the Korean wave and the global appeal of Korean culture. But today we're switching gears slightly to explore a debate that's gained attention around the world. Take a look at the screen to find out more.
Disneyland recently introduced a Lightning Lane Premier Pass, which lets pass holders skip lines for popular attractions without selecting the ride or specific time in advance. While marketed as a time-saving convenience, it sparked a heated debate about fairness and the idea of buying time with money.
Right, so this is a timely topic with the college entrance exam in Korea now over and the end of the year season approaching. Amusement parks are a popular destination for many people. But with so many planning to visit, I want to ask you, what are some inconveniences or challenges that you've encountered when visiting amusement parks at this time of the year?
So with many planning to visit, there are some challenges we've got to face. Crowds, expensive tickets or long queues, there's always something to navigate. For example, when I recently visited Seoul on a busy Saturday, I faced a 3-hour wait.
3 hours?
To park in order to find the right parking lot. There wasn't any application or system in order to check available parking spaces, so we had to queue without knowing how long it would take. But on the bright side, ticket prices were pretty reasonable with card and mobile network discounts. We managed the long queues by preparing ahead of time. I brought some snacks and small activities to keep the kids entertained while waiting before getting insane and crazy, which made the rides feel even more rewarding in the end for all of them. And in my opinion, with a little planning and patience, these minor inconveniences don't overweigh the fun and memories you can create during a day out. And it's all about embracing the experience, right?
Well, can I ask you how long you actually waited for the rides, Jiyeon?
I think around 30 minutes or 1 hour.
That's not a short amount of time.
Indeed, indeed.
Right, so definitely if you visit amusement parks at this time of the year, there is a waiting time, especially when you visit the weekends when there are a lot of visitors. Now, Munju, did you also experience something similar as Jiyeon mentioned? What about you?
Something similar but quite different. Personally, I'm not a big fan of like amusement parks.
Oh, why?
Just because I get fearful so easily, like hopping on all the rides.
Like roller coasters?
Yeah, theme parks. It's very scary for me. So my personal problem is me only having two hands to carry my friend's stuff while they're enjoying their thrilling moments, and my poor stamina. But I do still agree with Juhyun that the biggest problem would be the long queues and for like both parking vehicles and also the long lines for the rides. And I still remember the times when I was like waiting more for like than I was actually enjoying our ride stuff. So I think that's the biggest problem. And when I visited like Universal Studios at LA, I actually took advantage of the mobile application that tells me like the waiting time. So it was very helpful, and I think most of theme parks are utilizing those mobile applications. So it could be one tip for everyone to use it. Yeah.
So a large crowd, which naturally leads to a longer waiting time, is probably the biggest inconvenience that visitors experience when they visiting these parks, which once again leads to Disneyland introducing this top-tier Lightning Lane Premier Pass. Now, it's available only to guests at selected hotels and comes with quite a hefty price tag, reaching up to $450 plus tax, depending on the park and date. And I want to mention that that's about 30 times more expensive than the cheapest pass. And similar premium services have already been introduced at other parks as well, such as Universal Studios that Munju visited, as well as Lotte World and Everland here in Korea. So starting off our discussion today, what are your general thoughts on these passes?
Well, fast track passes are allocated to only a small portion of guests who are visiting the amusement park theme park. And even those using them still have to queue for a certain period of time. It's simply a tiered service system where customers pay different prices for different experiences. And such services can be essential for people who may struggle to stand in long lines for extended periods.
So you kind of agree on the purpose of these passes, whether it's for those who are having problems standing in a line for a long time, and also for those who are just wanting to pay more to not wait and skip the queues.
That's right.
Then what about you, Munju? What are your thoughts on these passes?
Yeah, it is definitely true that we need this like kind of passes for those who are having a hard time standing on the line. But it's actually offered at the most theme parks at this point of moment right now. And the concept of this pass is buying time with money, right? So which is a great example of materialism. And also it shows the negative aspect of capitalism that we're living in the society right now. So we should never forget though that these amusement parks are primarily designed for like children and young students. And they're not in a good age to be exposed to this kind of, idea that money can buy anything. So I think it's a careful point, a cautious point that we have to always look out for. Yeah.
So you're kind of worried about showing students or especially children that you can kind of buy time with money. It may kind of lead or kind of teach them that about these materialistic perspectives or thoughts that you can buy time with money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Then Jiyeon, you're a parent yourself. You have 2 kids. Are you also concerned about this? Do you agree that this could have some sort of an influence on children, thinking that we can basically buy anything with money, for example, time?
Well, that's a good point indeed. Well, but I reckon amusement parks are a luxury itself, not a necessity. So simply visiting one can already leave some people feeling isolated, feeling excluded from this culture. Well, fast track passes are no different from other tiered services. We easily accept such as faster taxi dispatch options that we have in Korea on applications, and single delivery choices on food platforms. We pay 1,000 or 2,000 extra fee for that, or the price difference between City View and Ocean View hotel rooms. So this fast track pass is not a unique issue.
So you think that these skipping and queue services or these fast track services are already available, or there are a lot of services being provided, but why this particular pass amusement parks? And I think another point you made is that we don't really often visit amusement parks regularly. It's kind of like 2 or 3 times a year. So this may not have a big influence on teaching students or kind of implementing this idea of materialism.
That's right.
For students, right? Then Munju, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, definitely it's not a unique issue here. But here's where the difference comes from is that, for example, the faster taxi dispatch, you have to pay the fee anyways, but you're adding just the 3,001, for example, and you can have an option to select it or not. But this amusement park, it is in fact already a ticketed facilities, meaning that every visitor has already paid for the general admissions that, for a certain amount of money. And this also would mean that all individuals are then now customers who have the right to receive the same quality of service. So I think this is a point that we have to always remember with the difference between the faster dispatch of taxi and the amusement park tickets.
And I think that this Disneyland pass specifically has become controversial because you have to pay much more when compared to 3,000 won when you are trying to use this fast track taxi, because $450, it's almost equivalent to more than 600,000 Korean won, which is once again 30 times more expensive than the cheapest pass that Disneyland offers. Now this debate brings up a larger question. We kind of mentioned this earlier, but what do you think about the idea of buying time with money?
That's a very good question and a controversial question at the same time. Well, I reckon time holds different levels of significance for everybody. For example, someone who visits frequently and someone who has traveled a long way, maybe from the Jeju-do Island, for a rare visit, may naturally have different priorities, different perspective and expectations for the theme park. So choosing to pay extra to enjoy more attractions, more rides, is a personal decision. There are options like this offer flexibility, enabling visitors to customize their experiences according to their needs and circumstances. In this sense, the concept of buying time with money can be seen as a practical and a reasonable choice for those who value it.
So you think that this is a personal choice, whether to pay more, to skip the line, because some people who are visiting the amusement parks, they may put more value on time, saving time by paying more money. Then Munju, do you agree with this perspective? What do you think?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Personal choices, it's definitely personal choices. But if you think about it, these days, resources that were all provided equally to every individual in the past has been getting depleted. So water bottles, for example, it's been a while since we started paying for it. And so I feel like the next deal up, it's going to be time. And then if we move on at this pace, we might have to purchase the air or other necessary resources in the very near future. And I think this is another cautious point, again, to think about it when we discuss this kind of topic.
And because before there weren't these passes because people all had to wait in line equally. Now we're seeing the introduction of these passes, and these passes are becoming more pricier. So I get your point there. Now, so far we've listened from our panelists expanding our discussion. We also asked our viewers beforehand if they would pay for skip the line services and when. And here's what some of them said. If we look at our viewers' comments, Benny-D97 says, I would like to pay at least $3 to $5 if I don't want to wait because of time and I'm going to an important meeting. Joseph N8I says, if it's for an official matter, yes, the amount would depend on the importance of the situation. RKZLTV, no, because other people's time is just as valuable as mine. So we can see that the opinion is being divided among our viewers as well. But for those who are for this pass, I think that they're saying that this is a personal option. Like, it's up to you whether you want to pay more in order to save time. So I want to also ask our panelists, have there been any moments in your life when you thought that it was worthy to pay more just to save your time?
Well, absolutely. Well, you know, there is a food delivery application in Korea. Sometimes I pay an extra 1,000 won for the faster delivery service on a food app, and it arrives in record time. Honestly, it felt like a luxury by paying 1,000 won, having hot food so quickly, and worth every penny. And also, there was a time I needed to receive some important documents, paper, urgently to finish a task on time, and I used a same-day delivery service. We call this quick service in Korean. That is English indeed. But I paid extra to ensure they arrived quickly. So thanks to speedy service, I managed to complete everything without delay. So hot food and quick documents, money well spent. Pat, pat, pat for me.
So hot food and delivery services. What about you?
Definitely faster dispatch taxis. You know, I always plan ahead, but time doesn't work as I plan, right?
Right.
So I have to like dispatch, spend 3,000 won, and some sort of like the extra time that I spent, I have to somehow like pay for it. So I guess I bought some time with money, but I think it's worth it because I got much better, looking good. So I think it's worth spending time and money sometimes, yeah.
I see. So for more on this debate on Disneyland and amusement parks premium fast track passes, we're now going to invite an expert to our talks after a short break.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us today is Shin Eun-kyung, Assistant Professor of Sociology at Korea University in Seoul. Welcome, Professor Shin, to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So, Professor, amusement parks aren't the only places offering time-saving services, as we mentioned earlier. So, why do you think these specific passes have become so controversial?
The controversy stems from the fact that premium passes challenges the notions of fairness and justice. While they offer convenience to those who can afford them, they alienate others by creating a two-sided experience, one for the wealthy, another for the rest. These services often allow those who can pay to jump the queue, effectively taking advantages over others who have waited longer. When high-paying customers cut the line, this service automatically creates disadvantages for the others. They have to wait longer. Money should not override basic principles of equity, where everyone should be treated equally regardless of their financial means. Most importantly, in a digital age, as we mentioned earlier, waiting in a queue is unnecessary inconvenience. We don't need to stand in long lines waiting for something. Companies can use digital queuing systems to alert customers by a simple notification when their turn is about 5 minutes away. This would save visitors from wasting their time in uncomfortable conditions, rain or shine. Providing such convenient solutions should be a basic responsibility of the companies. Ignoring these options offering time-saving benefits to high-paying customers is unfair, where companies neglect their basic duty.
Interesting indeed, Professor Shin. So what do you think has prompted companies to introduce these premium passes in the first place?
Premium passes are often driven by a business model that charges higher fees for enhanced service, a strategy commonly seen in various industries. For example, first-class seats in an airplane offer widely accepted a different pricing system, justified by the tangible benefit of more physical space. In such cases, the added cost align with a clear and specific value position. However, creating time-saving services at amusement park or similar settings operates differently. As mentioned earlier, this passage shifts the burden of unnecessary time wasting onto other customers, undermining democratic value of fairness and equity. Unlike first-class sittings, where experience doesn't negatively affect economy passengers, these passes allow the few buy time at expenses of others' time. This type of system enhances social inequality, raising questions about the ethical implications of such practices.
Yeah, absolutely. Professor, our last question today for you is, when do you think buying the time with money services are kind of justified? And how can we create an environment where these services are accepted without the backlash?
I mean, time is the most finite human resource. Buying time with money service can be justified only when they do not fundamentally damage others. Only when the service added value without diminishing the quality of experience for other users. The idea of buying time with money is inherently risky and must be approached with caution. Imagine a hospital scenario where two patients are equally critical, but doctors prioritize the one who paid more while the other has to wait. Such a system would be deeply unjust, as time is valuable for everyone, regardless of their financial status. On a personal level, paying to save time can be reasonable. However, when companies implement policies that treat some people's time as more valuable while forcing others to waste theirs, they cross a line. This approach not only undermines fairness but also deeply violates the fundamental principle of democracy. For time-buying services to be justified, they must meet two criteria. They should not disadvantage others. They must offer clear value without perpetuating systematic inequality. For instance, providing optional upgrade on an enhanced experience like private tours without delaying or diminishing the standard service for others is acceptable. Anything less risks creating a system where fairness is sacrificed for profit, both ethically and socially unacceptable.
All right, Professor Shin, thank you so much for your insights today.
Thank you.
Thank you. So ending off very briefly, what are your thoughts on this after this entire discussion on time and money?
I think it's not fair to call every profit-driven idea greedy. You know, charging for things that used to be free can reflect progress, especially when it leads to innovation and convenience. So paid services often enhance experiences and provide value that wasn't available before. So let's embrace a balance between, innovation and your cost as well.
Balancing. What about you?
Yeah, I think this kind of services are always needed sometimes, but I think the most important thing is we have to aspire for society with more considerations towards others. Yeah.
All right, so if you have any thoughts or if you would like to leave a comment on today's debate, please watch NewsGen's episode and leave a comment below. And that's all from us today, but NewsGen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Special thanks today to Kwon Ji-yeon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and Kang Moon-ju.
My pleasure.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. We are News Generation.